morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Thursday, October 26th, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. We will get to Kyle Shanahan's media session and what he said about Steve Wilks' zero blitz and what he said about Fred Warner's comments about the team's mental toughness. But first, we begin, as we always do, with our injury report. Now, the Niners only had a walkthrough practice yesterday, so it's a little bit different, but here are the designations for you. Dre Greenlaw was just resting, which is good. Deebo Samuel, of course, didn't participate with the shoulder, and Trent Williams didn't participate with the ankle. On the good news, Christian McCaffrey and Demetrius Flangen-Foles both practiced in full, so that's obviously very, very good. What's that, Kyle? There's one more?
Brock Purdy, new one for you guys. He's in the protocol. So, go ahead.
When did that happen with Brock?
In the game.
You don't know when, like at what point?
Oh, he started getting symptoms on the plane. So we found that out when we landed. We were all pretty asleep, but then he got all checked up today or yesterday, and now he's in the protocol.
Does he have enough time to clear protocol in order to be available for the game on Sunday?
Oh, yeah, he does have enough time. He's got to go through the process.
When you watch the film, where do you think he hurt it? Was it on the quarterback sneaks, maybe?
Possibly. We don't know for sure because he didn't start getting until the plane, so I don't know exactly, but I'd probably guess that.
Oh, just what we need, right? Okay, so let's get into this now. Just so you know, it's very difficult for someone to go into the concussion protocol and be cleared from the concussion protocol in the same week. It doesn't happen very often. There is a 5-phase program that Brock Purdy is going to have to advance through if he's going to play on Sunday. I'm not going to summarize the whole thing for you here, but basically you do more and more work until you're eventually cleared by a team doctor and an independent neurologist. And okay, I guess that's a summary, but you know what I'm saying. In the event that Purdy isn't cleared, Sam Darnold, of course, would get the start, although Kyle did say that he would be willing to stick with Purdy even if Brock wasn't cleared until the end of the week. Kyle even brought up the fact that he started Purdy against the Seahawks on that Thursday night game last year, and Purdy hadn't even thrown a single football all week. So fingers crossed on that one. Outside of the Brock Purdy news, let's hear more from Kyle now. Fred Warner said the team needs to be mentally tougher. Kyle Shanahan, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say mental toughness. I just go by what I see in the game, and I think we've been in the reality of the NFL the last 2 weeks, where the reality of the NFL is every game is usually decided. Most of the games are decided by one score, and we've been in 2 of those in our last 2 games, and we've had the ball within one score at the end and haven't gotten it done. And I think when you look before that, I think out of our previous 15 games, I think there was only 3 games that weren't double-digit wins. So I think we're getting more into the reality of the league, and we've lost both of those games. And when it comes to one score, you look at the top team in the league and the bottom team in the league, and usually those guys are in a lot of one-score games. It's who comes out with more wins, and we're 0-2 in those right now.
Kyle's actually right about that. Normal NFL teams do not go around blowing everybody out by multiple scores. That run the 49ers were on was just simply incredible. But the league is set up for teams to play in one-score games, and that's generally what you're going to have to be in. So if that's the world the 49ers are going to live in, that's okay, but they have to cut out mistakes on both sides of the ball. One more from Shanahan now, because you know he was going to get asked about that Steve Wilks zero blitz at the end of the first half against the Vikings. He was, and let's just say he didn't throw any punches.
He knows he messed up on that call. I have no problem with zero blitzes, especially when people need a lot of yards. You know, if you need to get 20 yards to kick a field goal, I have no problem with the zero blitz. But I do when there's 16 seconds left, and that's where he lost track. There was no necessary need for that just because of the time. I have no problem with the call. But I have no problem with that play call, but when it's that time, you can't do that. It's not an option.
That might sound harsh, but it's the truth. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Thursday. Tim Kawakami has a column in The Athletic that takes the defensive line and rakes them over the coals. It is one of the harshest criticisms from Tim Kawakami I have seen in a long, long time, but I also think they deserve it. If you want to read it, click the link in the description of this episode. One thing to watch, it has to be the health of Brock Purdy. That's obvious, but also the health of Trent Williams. Kyle said yesterday that Trent Williams might have been able to give it a shot against the Vikings, but they were being extra cautious with him because they didn't want him playing on Minnesota's artificial turf. So there is a possibility not only that Trent Williams plays against the Bengals, but also that he returns to practice later today. Let us hope, especially if Sam Darnold is in there. One thing you may have missed, congratulations, Sean McVay and his wife, Veronica. They announced the birth of their first child earlier this week, Jordan John McVay. And if that name sounds familiar to you, yes, he is named in honor of former 49ers executive John McVay, who, of course, was with Bill Walsh in the golden years of the franchise. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Stay tuned for the original Gold Standard Podcast with myself and Levin Black. We are going to be live at 10:45 a.m. Pacific time today, reacting to the Brock Purdy news, reacting to a couple other little tidbits that came out of the 49ers locker room session yesterday. Please, please, please join us for that. We love your questions. We love your comments. We love the interactive nature of those live shows. So I hope you can join us for part or all of that. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk tomorrow.